Welcome along to EXFL Tier 2 Season 13. We are here for round 6 of the season. It is the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. We have 18 drivers at the moment for an 18-minute qualifying session. We should be expecting one more to join of Charlie. Louis just left at the start, so just got him back in. Alright. So, the first few cars heading out onto the track then. I believe that is one of the Alpines. Is that Sasha or Warren? It is Sasha, okay. So yeah, we are here for the second out of 3 night races in a row. We started off this triple header with Bahrain last week, which saw the championship leader extend his advantage for the first time this season. We have not had back-to-back races where the championship leader has stayed in first, but Dello, 5 races in, has won 3 of them, and he's missed one of them as well. The other 2, one going to Fnatic, the other going to Martin. But in terms of qualifying, we have had 5 qualifying sessions, and 3 of them, the first 3, have been taken by Grush, and the last 2 have been taken by Martin. No pole sitter this season between these 2, I guess, have converted that into victory. Every win so far this season, up until last week, was from P2 on the grid, and then Dello from P3 7 days ago won the race as he's exited the pit lane then, and he's out onto the track. Comes the Red Bull, who lead both drivers and constructors championships with a very strong lineup. Aston not too far behind, and Williams are still in the mix, as well as maybe, well, you never know with Cadillac, because obviously, Charlie is, well, whenever he joins, we'll be back. And after that brilliant result a fortnight ago in Miami, he said he won't probably be able to replicate that again, as he wants an invite. There you go, mate. And I'll quickly just invite Louis again. So, Warren, like always, it's a tradition at this rate. Starts on the hards for the start of qualifying. Really don't know why. But he's out there in Alpine. I believe this is his first appearance of the season. Now Toby's left. I can't remember if he was in round 1 or not. Either way, it's good to see him back. Warren, one of the most experienced drivers in the field, in the tier, as he slides his way through the chicane there. Big snap of the rear. But yeah, Warren, who joined in season 4. This is maybe, I think it's his 10th season he's entered now, approaching nearly 100 races in the tier. And Saudi will be a bit of a question mark, because obviously, you know, as the past few seasons have gone, Tier 2 has become more of an established, better racing and more experienced driving force. But I don't know, we still head to these kind of tracks, Saudi, Baku, Singapore, you know, the ones that will cause chaos. But we'll see today if that's the case. Obviously, we've had one safety car in the last, it's an Alpine 1-2 at the moment, as Jack goes just a 10th behind Warren, and then drifting. We've had one safety car since round 7 of last season, so in the last 18 races, we've had one, and that was the opening round at the end of the race. As Eggy has delivered a great lap. We're into the 29s then. What was pole yesterday? Were we in the 27s or 8s? I think we were in the 20... I've actually forgotten. All I know, it was a 0.3, I think, or 2, something like that. I think it was a... well, we were in the 28s, yeah. Low 28s. 28, 2 or 3. So you'd expect pole today, considering Tier 2 consistently is usually around a second off pole in Tier 1. Pole today should be a low 29. As look at that, we're already pretty much into the low 29s. Dello with a 29.403. Great lap from the Red Bull And now we see what the other big guns can do to challenge. Grush and Yannick, 15 thousandths apart, currently on the second row. Grush, who, yeah, after the first 3 races, taking pole in them all, hasn't really looked too comfortable. Miami was just kind of around 6th the whole time. Bahrain got even worse for him, qualifying 10th, finishing 10th. I don't know, he's either lacking some pace or he's not practiced as much. Either way, that's a big gap from Dello to Eggy, as his teammate Samurai in 11th will be going once again for another push run. Fnatic, of course, will be probably doing a run right at the end. As Charlie's in his car. But we await for Martin then, the closest challenger to Dello. Dello, who leads the championship by 11 points ahead of Martin, and Martin is 11 points ahead of Fnatic, as Martin does go to P2, so first and second in the championship, first and second in qualifying right now. But it's advantage Dello at the moment. And we'll see what Fnatic and maybe even Toby can do as well. But yeah, first runs, the Samurai improves to P6, but that's quite a gap to the top still. Cow still in the top 10 in an Alpine sandwich at the moment. Of course, if I was to rank the top 5 tracks where battery is going to be, I guess, the most difficult to save or to use it correctly, this would be in it. This, along with maybe Monza and Silverstone and maybe Australia. I don't know, this track requires a lot of battery, obviously, and lifting will gain you a lot. So if that's why we see some bigger times, Tier 2 is obviously a lot more broad with different techniques that they use. Tier 1 is obviously a bit more constrained to the fastest type of way to do it. So yeah, there might be big gaps, but as Toby's back in, that's great. But currently best of the rest, I guess Callum, he's kind of on his own because there's a whole second between Samurai to drifting up in 8th at the moment. So we have Toby, Louis, and I don't know, someone else, I guess, having a bit of connection issues. So hopefully that'll sort itself out. Anyway, top 3 in the pits then. Yannick is going again. 32-7 first set to up by nearly 2/10. Middle set to split. He's up by over 2/10, which can get him up to 3rd, but he's going to need to find a bit more time to challenge for that front row. We may as well activate battery. Look at that, he's already out. So this could really cost him. As he starts to lift, starts to save. And you save roughly about 30% through this last corner. So he'll blast it up to the line. Already out. 29-4. Time to beat. Yannick goes to P3. 29-8. Lost a little bit as Grush goes onto the front row. That's a great improvement from the McLaren. He needed that after, like I said, what has not been the greatest last couple of weeks for him. Grush has made his mark in this qualifying session at the halfway stage to toss his hat into the ring of fighting for pole. So, great lap from the McLaren there. Scher's gone up to 9th as well. Good lap from him. Charlie is out there. Charlie, of course, started last in Miami, P20, and finished 5th. So anything, well, he can't be 20th today, but anything higher than that as he's trying to get a little bit of slipstream from, I think, Grush, who's pulling out the way there. Where can Charlie get that Cadillac to? As Louis also out there on the track in the middle sector, a 3.2 for the Audi. Audi, who, of course, taken over from Sauber, but they are, I guess, a new team as well. Yeah, they haven't had the greatest start. Louis, I don't think, has a point to his name so far. And Callum, who, actually, I expected him to be one of the challengers for the championship this season. I thought it's around about his time. Has just not really looked too comfortable with these new generation of cars right now. He's kind of best of the rest. But that is a good lap from Louis, considering he's always been around the 15th marker or so. So to be on the doorstep of the top 10, that's a lot better for Poisonous Gold. Dubs is out there, 2.5 tenths up by the middle sector, give or take. Now he's out of battery. As Charlie goes up to P8. Good lap from him. As Dubs will now be the next car to cross the line then. We'll see what he can do. He does a 33.1 and is 16th for now, only improved by a minor amount of time, as Delo's now left. That's going to affect the man on pole position right now, whether he wanted to do a second run or not. 7.5 minutes remaining. He might only get one more chance. I'm not too sure if you can do 2 runs in only that amount of time. So Delo on the back foot, his nearest competitor, Martin, going through the first sector there. Delo's back, which is great. Martin should be easy flat round here in none or medium, I guess. Through the tight and twisty corners, make sure to keep it within the confines. Don't invalidate. Finish the first sector split. He is up by nearly 0.2 of a second. Round the long uphill hairpin. Bit of a banked area as he carries on through. His tight chicane, so easy to clip the inside wall. Takes it very nice indeed. No sort of snaps. He's looking comfortable, looking simple and clean. Maybe even getting a bit of slipstream here from the Alpine, who will hopefully get out of his way. He does. Last second, that could actually help him a little, but he's only up by 1/10.5. He's lost a couple hundredths. Dives it through 22 and 23. Another very fast and difficult chicane to get right when you're pushing to the absolute maximum. Out of battery, however. As that's becoming a common thing along this back straight. One corner left then for the Aston Martin. He's roughly about where Grush is, and he might get a little bit of slipstream from the RB ahead as well. Where can Martin place his car? Can he get back onto the front row? He'll cross the line now, and he is back onto the front row, and he actually found a 10th in that last sector to put himself within 38 thousandths of pole position. So good lap from the Aston Martin. What about Eggy? He's invalidated in his first sector. What about Samurai? He's up by 0.4 come the middle sector split, a 2.0 as now Aaron's left. As across the line, that was the Williams of Toby going P10. I'll invite Aaron in a sec. We're going to see what Samurai does across the line. 29.4 is the time to beat from his teammate. He does a 29.8, stays P6, but the top 6 getting ever closer to one another. Right, Aaron. So yeah, Eggy still out there. Will he go again? Only 0.3 off. So actually, Eggy may have improved, and the invalidated lap may have been his in lap if he goes into the pits now, which I think he does. Okay, so Eggy managed to improve as well. Good for him. Callum managed to get within a second of pole time. Charlie and Warren kind of with Callum as best of the rest there. Toby 10th. We'll obviously be expecting Fnatic to do a Fnatic lap at the end. 5 minutes left on the clock then. And everyone's pretty much done a representative time, apart from Aaron. He's not 7 seconds off the pace. What about... No one's really on a lap per se. Sasha is down, but across the line, can he improve? He can. Found a bit of time in that last set. Quite a lot, actually. About 0.4 to... Well, he was on the doorstep. Louis been disqualified for blocking the pit lane. What has happened there? As there's an incident between the Cadillac and the Aston. So Louis will start this race from last. That Aston was sure just beginning a lap there, I believe. And the Cadillac was Charlie. As Cal is out in P10. He will go... there was a big shift up the order from someone. I believe that was Cal. It was. And whether he's thinks that's enough, I don't know why he didn't go back to the pit lane to retire, but either way, he's out. Yeah, well, there's an incident. Scher's not going to be happy about. And I guess Louis was just slowing down to let... Maybe, he saw Scher was beginning a lap maybe and wanted to slow down so he wouldn't get in his way, and that's ultimately cost him his qualifying because he's now been disqualified. That's utterly disappointing for the Audi and Scher. And Charlie, I guess, but I think Charlie got away with without any damage. So even though it was probably him that kind of caused all that, he's the one who's gotten away with it, which is very upsetting. So Delo begins his potential final run, unless he's fueled for one more. The man currently on pole position by only 38 thousandths, as Grush is just ahead of him, beginning what will be his second last run, because we know Grush always does 2 runs right at the end. So, Delo v Grush, and Martin will be there soon to make it a 3-way fight for pole It's been the main three. These are the top three in... Fnatic. These are three of the top four in the championship. So, Grush is up marginally in the first sector. Dello is up by over a tenth in the first sector. Dello giving it absolutely everything. He is in formidable form at the moment. 3 wins in 5 races so far this season. Dives it left, over the curb, blasts the battery, very close to the wall there. Grush, middle sector split, up by a tenth. Dello, has he found even more time? He has. Diving it left, keeping it in 6th. Of course, 5th for the race. Now he's out of battery, however, but Grush still has some as he starts to save. So I think he was out of battery too. So we'll look at Grush first then, as Dello's heading through the last corner. So where can Grush get this time? Across the line for Grush, and it's pole for now. But Dello is up by quite a good amount of margin. And Dello takes it back by 67 thousandths. Dello with a 29.2. And we are exactly pretty much a second off Tier 1 pole time. But Dello has retaken pole with a great lap. I think he may have lost a little at the end. But yeah, great lap from Grush to make it still within a tenth of the top 2. And we'll see Martin's response soon. Yannick up by a couple hundredths in the first set to split then. But yeah, Grush, 3 poles this season. Martin, 2 poles this season. Dello, yet to take a pole, but he could become the 3rd man to do so. As that's it for Sasha. P13, after his best result of P7 last week, will start outside the top 10 this week. Martin's still in the pits. How long do we have left? Wish these yellows would clear. Is the yellow causer? Dubs, get on with it. What? Oh, well, that's it then. Martin's done. He's P3 at best. It will be Grush trying to go again, and Dello as well. Unless that's it for him. And who else can challenge? What about Yannick? A couple hundredths up in the first. A tenth up in the middle. Not too bad from Yannick, considering Samurai's middle was a 2.0. Yannick's done a 1.7. So Yannick to the line. Only has 1 pole so far. He stays 5th for now. Slight improvement, but can't get him any higher. What about Eggy, who always can deliver a great lap right at the end, has begun his final run. Grush, 20 seconds left. Will make it to the line. Dello, is he going again as well? He's got a full battery. And he will. So, Dello v Grush for one final time then. And who else can challenge? Eggy, first set to split. As that's the Williams just crossing the line of Fnatic. He's up by nearly a tenth and a half. As there's a Ferrari, the only Ferrari, because Cooks is not racing. No, it's an Audi. Never mind. That'll obviously be Callum. He's finished in 7th. Martin's finished in 3rd. We have a white dot. That's either a Cadillac or a Haas coming around the last corner. That's Charlie. He'll be no higher than 8th. As the RB of Jack tries to get a little bit of slipstream and tries to improve his position. That's a big gap to gain 1 place, and he's pretty much halved it. As the other Alpine of Warren, currently P9 at the moment. It's been a great quali for Warren, and that looks like he's going to stay there. As we have a couple more heading into the last corner. The Haas of Aaron and the RB of Dubs will be crossing the line, and then we'll see Eggy, as he's invalidated, unfortunately. So that is Eggy done in 4th. What about Grush? Oh, he's invalidated as well, but he was up by a tenth and a half. Dello is still on a valid lap, so it looks like Dello is going to take pole position here. He's down by a tenth and a half, and Grush maybe could have done a little bit more. As Yannick to the line. Let's check the Williams. Toby will be next across the line. What about Fnatic? He's right behind him. So, Toby to P8 for the first Williams, but Fnatic, who's usually been the better of the 2 Williams, will see what he can do right at the end as the 2 Red Bulls. Let's not forget about Samurai, but he's down. Crosses the line. He does improve, but he stays 6th. Dello stays 1st for now. What about Fnatic, who goes to P7? And Grush, well, unfortunately, he was up, but he invalidated, so that will mean Dello, for the first time this season, is on pole position. 3 for Grush, 2 for Martin, 1 for Dello. And it's the top 3 like that, in opposite order. So, well done to Dello. By 67 thousandths, he takes pole ahead of Grush. Martin P3, an all-German, 2nd row. Yannick 5th, Samurai 6th. Fnatic managed to go 7th in the end there. Just ahead of Callum in 8th. Toby 9th, and Charlie, top 10 start for him. Just ahead of Warren, and then Cow, and then Drifting, and then Sasha. Then we have Scher, Jack. Aaron managed to get ahead of Dubs, and yeah, Louis unfortunately will be starting at the back. Scher did apologise, or Branko did apologise to Charlie for the exit of turn 2. I don't know, was that... well, always modest and noble. Not modest. Always... It's a nice thing to do from Scher, even though from what I saw, it looked like it was Charlie's fault. But anyway, hopefully Scher managed to get a lap in the end there. That he was happy about. Because not for the first time, Scher's final run in qualifying has been impeded. It happened in the first race in Australia. Right then, we'll hear the ticking noises soon. Drivers will be confirming their fuel loads, strategy, any race setup tweaks. Let's have a little look. Delo's on hards at the moment. Everyone else behind on mediums, apart from Jack. Should be a simple one stop, medium, hard, hard, medium. Pit around lap 10, 11, 12 for Fanatic's sake, probably 25 from medium to hard. And then hards, you'd probably pit around lap 16-ish. 15, 16, 17. Just waiting for players then. Hopefully connections will stay good. There we go, there are the ticking noises. A countdown to the formation lap then. The second quarter of the first half of the season begins tonight then. Right, let's have a look. So, Delo and Grush, last second, swapping their tyres around. So Delo was on hards, went for mediums in the end. Grush was on mediums, went for hards in the end. Warren changed to hards as well. Jack was always committed to the white striped tyre. So, very interesting. Very interesting. Grush, well, gives Delo a little bit of confidence that he can hold on to this lead then. Grush will be just trying to hold on to his position, or at least not lose too many. If he only loses one, I'd say that's completely fine. If he gets stuck behind Eggy and Yannick, I'm not too sure. Because Eggy's pace has been usually he's been very consistent, but his pace this season has been a bit of a mystery. Because, what was it, Miami, he kind of had no pace. And then we go to Bahrain, and he has some pace. But then we look at Japan, and he had race-winning pace. So 3 races in the last 3 weeks have told 3 very different stories, I guess. So we'll see how that goes. Yannick, having a bit of a habit of starting in the top 5, but in 5th. So he'll be wanting to fight that a lot more. Eggy, Yannick, Samurai, that's usually where they've kind of been. Samurai, who obviously took his first podium of the season last week in Bahrain. Obviously it was a close quali. Reverted back to 6. We'll see what he can do. He's good at starts. And Fnatic right behind him as well. Those two have had a few battles this season. And then Callum will be hoping for some more points. And Toby as well. Toby and Sasha, who have fought a lot. Sasha not too happy when he fights Toby. He says Toby fights like it's the last lap of a world championship every lap. But each to their own. They could be aggressive. They could be just passive, I guess is the word. We'll see. And Charlie and Warren, we know they definitely like to get their elbows out. So these 3 are definitely going to be some fun to watch. Cal, praying he gets a good start, because the amount of times in the last 20-something races I've seen him start around here and be at the back by, I don't know, halfway through lap 1. Drifting, maybe he'll finish today. Sasha, he'll definitely want to get a bit higher as Drifting's messed up his parking. Scher will be trying to somehow get his way to the points, and then the back markers, I guess you could call them. We'll see what they can do, because it's going to be, on paper, a crazy race, because we're here at Saudi, but you never know. Delo facing slightly to the left to cover off any chance on Grush. But he's on the hards. Delo's on the mediums. And we're ready then for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It was a long hold, but it's lights out, and away we go. Good start from Delo. Can Grush hold on to P2? No, he can actually take the lead into turn 1, but Delo's fighting him back to the inside. But Grush, on the hard compound tyres, has taken the lead of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. What a start from the McLaren as Delo and Martin make slight contact. Martin goes off the track just in front of Eggy, then Yannick right behind the Mercedes. Samurai, Fnatic maintain their places. Charlie has got a good start ahead of Callum, Toby, Warren, and then Sasha up 2 places ahead of Drifting. Sure up 1. Cal is down 4 places. Louis up 2 places going off there, and then the 2 RBs as there's side-by-side action. Yannick, can he go around the outside of Eggy? They're still side-by-side, but it looks like Eggy will hold on for now. And Callum fighting away with Fnatic there. Fnatic has lost 2 places there. Charlie's up to 7th now. What an incredible launch from Grush, and it looked like at the first initial getaway, Delo had it, but then Grush on the second phase just absolutely went by, and there was a bit of a moment at turn 4 with Martin and Eggy and Delo, whether you could argue Martin has to give a place back or whatnot. I don't know whether they really are bothered with that, as the 2 Alpines are fighting, or swapping should I say. Got to look back to the front then. As, yeah, biggest gainer at the moment is, look at Aaron. I didn't even mention him, but he's up 4 places until Schur gets back in front of him. So good on him as the 2 RBs swap. As Yannick's right behind Eggy. As Delo on the second lap is trying to take the lead away from Grush. And down the inside, Delo retakes the lead of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And Grush just sits behind for now. Won't have the blue for this lap, as Alex has already done. Typical of him. So Delo leads ahead of Grush, and it looks like the top 6 are starting to break away from the rest, as Charlie becomes the de facto best of the rest leader, as Sasha, who started P14, once again fights away with Toby, and it looks like they're scrapping for the final points paying position, but Toby prevails out in front for now. Schur has got a good start overall in 12th, and Warren has not. And now he's coming under pressure from Aaron to the inside. This is probably the greatest thing I've seen from Aaron considering he joined this season. He hasn't really done too much so far, but he's up in P13, and Warren is really struggling on those hard compound tyres as Cal is fighting away. Oh, Warren has wing damage, I think, on his left-hand side. Let's look back to the front. Delo has nearly got a whole second gap ahead of Grush, and now he has. So that was a great getaway from Grush, and at least he's held position, but he's going to come under big pressure from those behind. Yannick very close to Eggy, and look how low all their batteries are. Yeah, none of them are able to save more than about 20%. Yannick stays behind for now. Right, let's put on that. Enable everything. Yep, it's already all good. As, well, we'll see if any swaps happen here. Eggy blasting. Now Yannick blasts, and that looks like he's going to put him ahead. On the inside, Yannick up into P4 ahead of the Mercedes. Choose his time wisely there to burn his battery. And Samurai can maybe just hang back here and use his battery and gain a couple positions when possible. But it's all aboard the Grush train as Delo's getting on with it then. Everyone being very careful at that turn 4. I'm sure at one point every season it happens with one person, whether it's at the start or at the very end of the race. Even when you're in the groove, someone clips that inside wall. Warren's in the pits then. He did have damage, and he has pitted for mediums, so he has no, yeah, the visual front wing glitch thingy that Sasha was on about. So Callum, not a million miles off the train, 1.8. If they start battling, he can close, but we'll see, pace-wise, how things go. So, Delo out of battery with a yellow light. Martin, yellow light. Yannick, Eggy. Schur, Cal, and that's it. So look at that, Delo, 0%. And now Grush on 0 will start to close in a bit on the Red Bull. The detection point is at the apex as Fnatic gets ahead of Callum. The detection point is here, right there. And Grush has not got the blue mode. Actually, no, I don't think it's there. It's here. Well, give or take. Anyway, let's look back to the front. Eggy fighting away with Yannick. Martin can't get past Grush. So Eggy Has he got the move done? Yannick hangs it around the outside on the Mercedes and holds on to fourth. But Eggy with a switchback on the power has got back in front. What a great little scrap between the Mercedes and the Cadillac. And yeah, good driving from the pair of them as Eggy, I think, just keeping it within the confines there. More swaps going on. Aaron and Cow side by side. Who's going to back out into turn 4? Cow to the inside. Aaron goes off the track. Where's he going? And drops all the way down. Lost. I don't know why he did that. I think there was enough of a gap to trail back in, but I guess better safe than sorry. But Cow, elbows out there. And all aboard his train, as it looks like P12 and 11 are fighting. 10, 9, 8 and 7 are fighting. And obviously the top 6 are in a scrap as well, as Louis has lost a place to Jack. And on the power, tags Jack. Ah, unfortunate for Jack there. Look like Louis just, yeah. As there's a swap for P2 at a very unorthodox place. Martin does briefly get ahead of Grush, heading into 22-23, but went too deep. And now is out of battery and could come under pressure from Eggy here. Eggy with a slight dab of the battery. Grush holds on then as Dello extends his lead. As look, Samurai to the inside on Yannick. And he has a pretty decent amount of battery, but Eggy has even more. Martin's, ow, he's going to start flashing. Now Eggy seizes his chance to get up into P3. And Samurai's not close enough, but Yannick is to send it on the inside of the Red Bolt to get back his P5 place. But Eggy, who was dropped down to 5th at one point, nearly under pressure from 6th, is now onto the podium. And you would expect in this next lap or two, Grush's tyres to start firing up now, and he should start to close on Dello. But obviously, with these top 6, if they all pit before Grush, they're going to undercut him. Grush will be 6th in this train, and he's got some overtaking to do. But Grush definitely needs a result like this. As, yeah, Dello leads 11 points ahead of Martin, 11 points ahead of Fnatic, who's about 6 points ahead of Grush. Grush, who, yeah, obviously hasn't won a race this season yet, has had 3 poles. This could be his best opportunity in the last 3 races, as he's gained a bit of a... He's gained a 10th or so on Dello, but more importantly, he's nearly a second ahead of Eggy. And he's doing that without blue, so pretty good. Anyway, just at the back of this little train, Samurai just keeping his time, keeping his time at bay for now, but he'll be wanting to make some moves soon. Fnatic with a great amount of battery, look at that. Pulling away from Callum now. Charlie still looking good in the points. Toby a bit on his own now. Sure, under pressure from Sasha. Cal has dropped these guys a little. Poisonous Gold back in front of Dubs now. And look at that, Grush has got a second ahead of Eggy, who should be okay to stay ahead of Martin here because he's out of battery. And so is Yannick. So far, so good. Lap 6, this is where Grush can start to gain a bit on Dello now before Dello starts to pit. Martin gets very close to that inside wall. Fnatic not quite. Yeah, they're practically all doing kind of the same, where they're leaving just a bit of room. And no one's really taking too much chance, because it's not worth it, really. Unless you're really, really pushing. Dubs back in front of Louis now. Oh! And we caught that, and Warren still... Oh, as Yannick gets ahead of Martin. Aaron, sorry. Is lucky to still be in the race there, as he clipped the inside wall. But Yannick, Martin's just gone from... well, second at one point to now down to 5th. And now he has the other Martin right behind him as Louis and Dubs fight once again. And this time around, hopefully he doesn't spin both RBs. Switches to the right very vaguely as there. I should really pay attention to the front guys. Side by side through 22 and 23. Goes Samurai ahead of Martin. Now what is going on with the Aston? He can't save the battery. He's falling down the order. Now he has to just stick with the pack. Grush has got the gap to 1.4 and all aboard the Eggy train now. But yeah, Yannick's got ahead. Samurai's got ahead. And now we have yellows. It looks like there was an incident between Louis and Dubs. Yeah, Dubs has damage. Louis, I'm not too sure. Well, he gets ahead. Gets the job done. As the top 4 are starting to separate now, you know. Eggy, 1.5 off Grush, is 1.5 off Dello, and other things happening. As Sasha has been overtaken by Shirt, so it's just 1 off the points now. Yannick just trying to stick within a second of Eggy. Samurai keeping Martin at bay. 35, 35, 25, 60, 22, 39 for the top 6. Fnatic's gained a little bit as he's left Callum now, who has to check his moves for Charlie. As into the pits, Dubs and Louis. So when is the earliest Delo can pit? Well, yesterday we saw, someone pit lap 8. It didn't really help by the end, and someone pit lap 9. Again, those 2 laps were just a bit too early. I'd say lap 10 is probably the earliest you really want. 11, 12, that's around the time. So we're still a few laps out yet. So this is Grush's chance to make his mark before Delo will then pit, and gain on him. But the question is, where will Delo come out? As Sasha back in front of Sher then. Pit stop is around 20-ish seconds, and if you pit right now from the lead, you would be in between Sher and Cal pretty much. As we see Sher back in front of Sasha, swapping all the time here. 1.1 then. By this time next lap, Grush may be within 1 second and have the blue. Eggy keeping Yannick out of a second as well, but he still managed to get the blue. Samurai in the middle of these two. There's another swap with Sasha and Sher. These top 6, or I guess 7 with Fnatic included, as they know every point's critical. We know these 7 will pretty much be the main 7 fighting for this championship. As I think they are at the top 7 in the championship. I don't think anyone else is... No. Delo leads ahead of Martin, ahead of Fnatic, ahead of Grush, and then Eggy, Yannick, and Samurai. So yeah, these 7, right now anyway, still anyone's game. Grush has lost a little bit of time to Delo on this lap. Cal, 3-second pen, the first of the race. Delo out of battery. Grush with still a little bit to use. You can hear Grush just lifting there to use his battery when needed, keeping it in medium for now. Warren now with a time pen. Charlie ahead of Callum now into 22 and 23 with a lot more battery to play with as well. But Callum is going to decide now is a good time to blast, and here we go. Martin to the inside of Samurai. Couldn't quite find a way past. And Callum will stay behind for now. Grush within a second of Delo. Has he got the blue mode? We'll see when he starts lifting. No, he has not. Yannick back within a second as there's a swap between Martin to the inside on Samurai. So he's managed to get back in front of the Red Bull. Callum goes defensive on Charlie. Charlie stays behind for now, but we'll look to the inside and there's contact. But he barges his way through, I guess. It was what? Rear tyre to front tyre? Eh. Anyway, they carry on. So, bit of a gap emerging between Delo and Grush. Eggy looks like they're all fighting for this last spot on the podium. This is good for Grush because obviously the bigger the gap behind, the less they'll undercut him by. But Grush now this time has really closed up to Delo. Well, every stream it kicks me out my party at least once. I'm trying to start a new one, but it's just stuck on a thingy. So hopefully my audio is still included. It should be fine. Xbox is just stupid. So Grush within a second now, but as he's out of battery, and so is Delo. The detection point's coming up, and he should still get the blue mode. But lap 9, this is kind of around where the pit stops will start to happen. So Delo, you'd expect him to stay out, and he does. Any one of these 4 want to jump the gun early? Nope. Fnatic, yeah, good one. Charlie still ahead of Callum, and Toby still hanging on to that point. Sasha 7 seconds behind though, with Shirt close to him as in the pit lane is Callum. He's looking for a bit of an undercut here. We see. Why would it let me in a parties? And Sasha as well, diving in. 1 second, so Delo knows he's getting on with it. He can pretty much use up the rest of his tyres now towards the end of his stint. We know Grush will be going a bit longer, but the gap is increasing as Callum now gets a 3-second time penalty. as he exits the pit lane. Yeah, the gap's getting bigger behind Grush, which will be better for his race. Again, if Dello were to pit, there's a gap between Toby and Scher now, give or take. So he would come out, I guess, into a good bit of free air. But surely we see one of Dello, Eggy, Yannick, Martin or Samurai pit this lap. They're going to try something. We know Eggy is pretty good on tyres. We know Samurai struggles a little. We know Yannick likes to go long in the first stint. Dubs with a penalty. We'll see what Martin does as well. Could be reactionary to the guys ahead. Around the final corner then, does Dello pit? Louis, time penalty. Dello stays out for one more lap. Grush, close behind him. Now we look to Eggy, Yannick, Martin, Samurai. He's in. So if Samurai gets a good outlet, he could undercut all three of those ahead. Slows it right down, doesn't speed. As what about Charlie? Stays out. Toby stays out as well. So this will be kind of interesting in the context between Samurai to Callum. Samurai will obviously put the hard compound tyres on and will obviously be ahead of Callum, but the gap will be interesting to see as Callum has caught Cal and Samurai is going to come out. There's Scher. Has he beaten him? Yes, he has. So even Samurai's ahead of Scher. And that 7-second gap as Martin now gets a 3-second time penalty. That's really not going to help his race out. So Samurai has come out in a very good spot, in a lot of clean air. Now he can get on with it. And yeah, so even he came out ahead of Scher. So if Dello pits, he might come out near Toby actually. But you can see Grush closing ever more on the Red Bull. But yeah, Martin, I don't really know what else he's going to be able to do. He just got to hope that those ahead start to get penalties. As Dubs has retired in the pit lane, however. So it's all well and good. Eggy still having a good race to defend from Yannick and Martin. But Martin's looking closer to the Mercedes. And this might be his time to strike as they are about to head into the pit lane soon. As we're just going to see Yannick complete the move. We're going to now check Dello. He's in the pits on lap 11 onto 12. So Grush retakes the lead. What about Yannick and Eggy? Yannick's in. Eggy follows him in. And Martin too. So they're all going to make sure to get it stopped. Oh my God. That was... All three of them had weird entries there. But they've all managed to avoid speeding. So where is Dello? Compared to his teammate of Samurai. Well, Dello will obviously get ahead. Where is Yannick and whatnot in comparison to Samurai? So Dello does come out right behind Toby. Give or take, that's not what he wanted. Can he get Toby on the exit, though? Yes, he can. So where's Samurai, then? Exiting the pits. He's ahead of Yannick, Eggy, and Martin. But Samurai on the power needs to defend from Yannick. He's done it. He's undercut 3 people in 1 lap. And it was just enough to get him now on the net podium. But 1 lap fresher tyres for Yannick, Eggy, and Martin. He's going to come under big pressure. 4 big names in this context of the championship. It's going to be a big fight from 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. Well, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th actually, no. But you never know with Fnatic. Yellows at turn 1. Oh, Louis and Aaron. It's Louis. Oh, he's lost his whole front wing. How have we not got a safety car from that? Usually the impact causes that. Anyway. Dello, 17.1 off the lead. Grush will obviously not be pitting for a few laps. Dello, who got ahead of Toby, has now caught the back of Charlie. Looks like Charlie's not going to... Well, he can't fight. He's out of battery. Dello breezes by. Up in a 3rd now. And Samurai not in the clear yet. He's under pressure from Yannick, who's looking to make a move. But can't quite do it for now. So, Fnatic, shock, stays out. He's done more of the race on the, again, the medium than the hards. He wants that deficit, but I don't really know if it will do much. Charlie's in. Here comes Yannick then, out of battery. Samurai's out of battery as well. It's a drag into turn 1 as we see Martin to the inside of Eggy. Samurai versus Yannick, round the outside. Yannick now to the inside, but on the power. It looks like he's pretty much got the move done. Samurai is going to be close to go to the inside at turn 4. Yannick stays on track, gets the move done. Yannick's back in front of the Red Bull, and Eggy held his nerve against Martin, who, I mean, it must be annoying for the Aston. He knows no matter really what he does, if it stays like this, he will finish last of these guys as Louis out. And we have a virtual safety car. 10 second. There's clearly been a big incident I mean, Louis' temper may have boiled over this race. He's not had the greatest amount of run. But this, we have a virtual safety car. I do not know what's happened between Louis and Aaron. Probably wasn't clean. That's put it lightly. Now, this is very interesting. What does Grush do? Because the VSC will probably be over by the time Fnatic and Delo get to the pits. Does Grush pit now? Sacrifice the tyre life at the end to make sure he gets a big advantage here in terms of lap time. It might be good enough. Has Grush just been given a lifeline here? What will he do with it? He goes in. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. You have to take these opportunities when they present themselves. Fnatic, please. It's a virtual. You may as well. Good. Okay, so Delo is not going to be happy with that one because surely this is going to give Grush the lead. And Aaron's cut a corner. Or will it give Grush the lead? It's going to be close between the top two in our race. Grush has to be careful on the exit as well to still keep to his delta. Who's going to lead this race? It should be Grush ahead of Delo. And, well, the VSC's still going on. Where does that put Fnatic as well? As, Delo, there was a swap there. Delo lets him back through. As we've resumed normal racing, no one's got to drive through. So that's great. As Toby exits the pits with Charlie. Fnatic is only 2.8 behind these guys now, and he could gain on Martin here. Second and third in the championship. Martin 11 ahead of Fnatic. That could swap around. But, wow, the top six very close to one another now. But Grush, on those mediums, now has to get on with it because by the end of the race, his tyres will be very much in a higher regard to Delo's. So it's not all doom and gloom for Delo, as long as he tries his best to stick with the McLaren. I'm just going to quickly check if Louis said anything. He did. Apparently he's saying it was Aaron's fault or whatnot. So, yeah, it's not like Louis to do anything on purpose or whatnot. But, yeah, not a great turn of events for him. But we've had a VSC for the first time in a while. We might have another because we have a yellow of Warren who's gone around, unfortunately. And Toby and Charlie are having a swap. Toby exited the pit lane just a few moments ago. Has been overtaken by the Cadillac. Callum, a bit on his own right now. Fnatic's lost half a second to Martin right now. Aaron, 3 seconds for corner cutting. And Yannick is currently in a bid to get this podium. Delo still with a yellow light. Same with Martin. But he can do well. He's on the back of the train. He can definitely save. As Charlie and Toby swap again. Show also with a yellow. Yeah. Grush trying to get on with it, but Delo is still keeping within a second, just about, with just over 10 laps to go then. And yeah, Grush, who was on pole for the first race, lost out to Delo in the dying stages to finish second. Who was on pole in China, lost out to Martin to finish second, and was on pole in Japan, but lost out to Delo and even Eggy right at the end to finish third. Miami was around just 6th the whole time. Bahrain was around 10th the whole time. That's definitely a warning. But right now, Grush has a chance to really put his name back into the fight properly after, yeah, not the greatest last couple of races. He's got to get on with it. As there's a swap. Samurai, who was ahead of Yannick, has been overtaken by him. Who was ahead of Eggy, has now been overtaken by him as well. So not good right now for the other Red Bull driver, but he's trying to fight back at Eggy. But I mean, look at the difference in battery. As Grush, fastest lap of the race, has absolutely excelled past as Aaron's retired in the pit lane. It's probably for the best as Toby and Charlie swap again. Grush, in this last half a minute, has absolutely sent it, or Delo's made a mistake, because look how close Yannick is to him now. So that could be very crucial, because Grush needed that. He needs a gap, because by the end, surely Delo will start to close back in on him. Because it would have been around now where Grush pitted, and he would have been behind all these guys. So this VSC has really helped that, and now he's making the most of it. Opportunities, do not waste them. And right now, Delo may have to check his mirrors, because Yannick's nearly within a second of him. The championship leader may be slightly annoyed at this moment in time, with 10 to go. But it's all in his hands. He still has a chance. And usually so far this season, as he's right up against the wall, practically, well, did hit it. Usually this season, Delo's timed his fuel pretty well to the end. It should start to go. Sasha, time pen, making that the 6th driver with one right now. Fnatic, whether he's just not got the pace right now, the top guys are just pulling away. Maybe with the blue mode, that's why. But Samurai, who fell behind Yannick and Eggy, might start to fall behind Martin soon. Jack, 3-second time penalty. That's for a straight corner cut as well. Not even an exceeding. Delo has gained a lot back on Grush, though. This battery swinging here and there, bit by bit. Yellows. Is that Sasha? That is Sasha. What's happened to him? He's lost half his wing. Very interesting as what is going on here. Swaps. Eggy and Yannick. Martin and Samurai. It's actually quite simple, really. But, yeah. Martin ahead of the Red Bull. And Eggy back onto the podium. Warren, time pen as well. Swaps galore between the back of the train as was that Cow? I don't know. Yeah, 1.5 seconds then between these two. Let's have a quick look at how many places people are getting. So the top 5 have all changed, give or take, but 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th are exactly where they qualified. And well, Sasha's slowing down for some reason. But Scher, who started 15th, is, well, he's done all he can, but he's still a mile off getting a point. Cal in 12th after all the stuff he's gone through this race. Sasha in the pits. It's not been the greatest run for him. Jack in 14th. I mean, that's not too bad for him. And Warren obviously had damage early on, so has lost a couple places. But yeah, of the 15 we have, only 3 people have actually been lower than where they started. Everyone else has either been the same or higher. So I'm sure this fight between Eggy and Yannick will go right to the end for this podium. We know how great these two drivers are with battling and respectful driving. Yannick on the last lap of Australia, after being 3rd, 2nd, 1st the whole time, dropped to 4th behind Martin, didn't accept it, overtook him right back to get 3rd. But we know Eggy, who has had many podiums, I think he's 3rd on the all-time list now, will be wanting another to help his chances. As Charlie and Toby have another swap. This is looking like a good fight between them. Obviously, Charlie knows he'll win out at the moment because he doesn't have a penalty. Gap staying pretty constant between Grush and Della right now. It's going down a little, but with 7 laps to go, who'd you put your money on? Dello, who's going to have better tyres at the end than Grush, who took a gamble on a VSC. Oh, it's not them who caused the yellow. Who caused the yellow? Oh, Sasha. I saw a swap. I didn't look at the minimap. Sasha's gone around then, and as long as he can find a gear to get on with it, he's now been lapped. Unfortunately, that is Sasha's race kind of done. If I had to put money heading into this, who would beat the other between the two Alpines? I thought Sasha would beat Warren, but right now he's behind him. Dello, 1.3 to now 1.2 to 1.1 now, but he's out of battery. But yeah, who do you put your battery on? Grush, who took a gamble a few laps before he should have pitted with the VSC to put him ahead of all these guys he was going to have to overtake. But he knew Dello would be closing in on him at the end, as Dello's going to be losing a lot of time here out of battery. This is a great shot. So Grush manages to survive for another lap. The longer the better, and we are going to have a right showdown, I think. Do not go anywhere, because I think game on is the way to phrase this. Samurai, unfortunately, is just lacking a lot of pace because he's outside of these 3, fighting away, and he better make sure he sticks within 3 of Martin. Otherwise, Martin's going to hold on to 5th here. And what does Fnatic do as he's starting to close up to the Red Bull as well? Sasha's out in the pit lane, becomes our 5th retiree of the race. We lost Drifting, who retired after the first lap. I think he wanted to go watch football or something. We lost Dubs, who retired in the pits. Louis, who retired on track for some reason. That's what caused the VSC. And Aaron and Sasha in the last few laps retired in the pit lane as well. 14 remain then. And as soon as we start lap 23, we won't have any chance for a safety car. But oh, that's just Sasha's dot, isn't it? Coming out of the pit lane just in front of the Aston here. 1 second then between the top 2. Gets well out of the way. That's great. 1 second, but once again, Dello's out of battery. It looks like Grush and Dello have quite different ways of using their battery across a lap here. Because you see Dello close in the first 2 sectors, but here, Grush should be able to pull away, but Delo's using, and Grush has used all his as well, but it's still going to go up as there's a swap. Eggy may have made a mistake. Either way, Yannick's ahead of him now. And Grush is well ahead of a second for Delo to not have blue. But Yannick has taken an opportunity there on the Mercedes, with Eggy having a lot more to fight back at his disposal. He sees the red light flashing. He stops burning because he knows he can still gain on the Cadillac, but for now he's going to stay behind. Martin just watching this unfold, knowing, hoping these two don't battle, because Fnatic has got ahead of Samurai now, and the gap is 3 seconds. I was going to say it's over 3, so Martin is at the moment okay, but Fnatic is starting to close back in now with those better tyres. Toby back in front of the Cadillac. Callum, at least he'll be P8 and some good points for now. But yeah, what is going on with Samurai? It just doesn't have the pace at the moment, unfortunately. He was third at one point. Anyway, Grush, Delo driving to the maximum possible. They both want this win. I'm sure they are giving it absolutely everything. Delo, who's what? I don't know, 19, 20 years old. Grush, who's 44 or something. That's double length or something. He's really pushing for it. But Delo, we know how quick he can be. And at the moment, nothing's separating these two right now. I know in the last 5 laps, it will probably be advantage Delo. But catching's one thing, overtaking is another. And this time round, it looks like these two have got this part of the track right. Does Martin intervene? Because right now he's got the gap, but that'll swap around here and there. I don't know if he can, because the more he spends battling these guys, the less chance he has of beating Fnatic and even Samurai. So it's a difficult situation for Martin. But I guess his best bet is to try and get past them quickly but efficiently. And maybe get a gap. Eggy just checking his mirrors. Martin's not really the kind to send it at this stage of the race. It would just not really make sense. Charlie back in front of Toby. Having a great old scrap. Every lap pretty much. They're swapping. 1.2 then. 5 laps to go. How much does Delo want it? How much does Grush want it? Another swap. And yeah, Fnatic well within 3 seconds now. Samurai is now the one on the verge of a 3 second gap to Martin. But yeah, a fight for the lead will be happening soon. It's inevitable at this rate. And a fight for the podium has been going on pretty much all race between Yannick and Eggy. You can't really pin it on whoever deserves it more at this rate. It will generally just come down to who is ahead across the line. And yeah, Saudi, who's not any stranger to seeing close calls across the line. Both, well, not really in real life, but, well, no, yeah, real life, actually, Bottas, Ocon. But we've seen it in league racing and especially in EXFL quite a lot of times. But here is the key question on lap 21. Is Delo within a second? I think he's just outside of it then. I thought he may have sent it to the inside there as Martin sends it on Eggy and nearly on Yannick as well. So Delo doesn't get the blue, but Martin has made his choice to start fighting the cars ahead. And now they're going to go side by side. Eggy's got a lot of battery to use. Martin has none. And Eggy with that overspeed. Does he go to the inside on Yannick? He plants his car there, but Yannick will have the inside and cover him off. But Eggy on the power, practically pushing Yannick for him. Charlie, Toby, side by side, swapping, Toby ahead. But now, Delo is within half a second of Grush now. Like he does in set to 1. Closes up in set to 2. Closes up, but not as much. But in set to 3, Grush will pull away. But look at the battery. It's pretty much the same. Delo, wide though, on the hairpin. I'll help Grush gain a 10th or so. But like I said, it's inevitable. These two are going to fight for this victory. And you can't really pin it down on these two are the main 2 protagonists, because one week it could be Delo and Martin. Next week it could be Grush and Fnatic or whatnot. There is these 7 at this very moment in time. Any one of them come round 20 could walk away with this championship. But right now, for round 6, it is Grush versus Delo. Any time pen for either one of them, it's set and match. So right now, it's gloves off, game on, 3 to go. Who's going to win this? Delo, this time, is easily within a second of the McLaren as Eggy is back in front of Yannick, who's on the brakes later. Down the inside goes the Cadillac, elbows out. We look back to the front, 0-0. Dello v Grush. Who's going to lead into turn one? You'd assume Grush. Can Dello hang it round the outside on the McLaren? Yes, he can, but now Grush on the exit will get back in front. And a little love tap on the tyres. Grush holds his place, and Yannick has gotten ahead of Eggy. So, first fight to Grush. Great defence, great little battle between them into turn one. And Yannick really got his elbows out in that last corner to practically nearly shove Eggy wide slightly as a Fnatic well within 3 of Martin. Samurai now has to try and stick within 3 of these guys as well. It's going to be difficult to watch these two fight and these two fight, but push comes to shove, we're going to focus on the win as Grush has held out for the first lap that Dello has blue. Can he do it for 2 more? We know how aggressive Dello can be under braking for a move when he's not desperate per se, but he sees the win. It's right there, and he wants to go and get it. But with the blue mode, this is really going to help him. And can he look to the inside on lap 20 at turn 22? No, that would have been almost suicide for the Red Bull. He thinks better of it. He pushes Grush to blast his battery and come under pressure. He's out of battery now. Dello has some left, and he can see the red light flashing. But will he stay behind to get blue mode, or will he go for it? Grush to the inside defensive, and Dello will go wide as Eggy and Yannick swap. And Yannick's been overtaken by Martin as well. So on the power then, Grush is going to be out of battery now. Dello will pretty much breeze by, but to the inside this time. He's not making the same mistake twice. Now Grush will try and hang it around the outside, but to no avail. Dello blocks him off, and on the penultimate lap of the race, Dello leads the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and Eggy will now be in a good position because he can lose a place to Martin, and it won't change anything. So he's staying in third, but Yannick's now dropped to 5th. He will not like that one bit. And it will all be about who has the most battery. Can Grush stick with Dello? I don't think he will be able to. And once again, another victory is going to slip away from him. And Dello is going to make it at the moment. 4 wins out of 6 and 4 wins out of 5 for his season so far. Can anyone stop the Red Bull? Meanwhile, Samurai well over 3 seconds now behind Martin. Looks like Fnatic's going to get 5th. And Yannick and Eggy should get 4th and 3rd, but who will keep ahead of the other? Yeah, Dello's got the battery over Grush as well. As Martin has got on with it. You know, I said he has to overtake the pair. So he's up in the 3rd. It's a real shame about that penalty, but this helps Eggy a little because he can have the blue, but now he has to make sure Yannick doesn't fight him as well. Like that on the exit. Yannick spies the gap and goes ahead of Eggy. They're both going to get blue at this rate. But does Martin just mess around a little? Does he let them close in? The blue mode detection's here. So they will both get it, and Martin will be the one under pressure. Yannick trying to clear Martin to hope Eggy doesn't. They got the same amount of battery, 3rd and 4th. Eggy's got nearly double starting that straight. Who will prevail? How much will Martin fight it with the inside? Yannick squeezes it. Eggy has to go for this to the inside. Gets it stopped. What a move from Eggy on the last lap. And he gets it done. What a send from the Mercedes. This fight for the podium is still not over. The win, though, well, Grush is doing very well to keep within a second right now. But it's not enough. Toby and Charlie fight for one last time. Charlie sends it to the inside. This has been a great old scrap. With Charlie, you'd assume, always going to make it as Fnatic gets ahead of Martin. And Charlie gets ahead of Toby. Blocks him off. Grush closing back slightly on Dello. Last lap of the race. Who's going to win this race? Who's going to be on the podium with Dello and Grush? Yannick right now ahead of Eggy. But look at the battery difference. Grush, his only chance is if Dello runs out of fuel. But like I said, Dello has timed this very well this season with his fuel. So we have to look back and forth. Fnatic under pressure from Martin. The top 6 all in their own duo battles as Samurai 3 seconds nearly with Martin now. Grush 1 second behind. It looks like Dello is going to hold on to this. What about Eggy? You can see Yannick flashing. They've been fighting all race, and the podium right now looks like it's going to go to Eggy on the last lap, heading into the last corner. Yannick sends it to the inside. but he's gone deep. Dello wins the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Eda Grush and Yannick did go too deep in a last-ditch effort. Can Fnatic get Yannick on the line? Yes, he can! Right at the end, Yannick not only loses the podium, but he loses 4th as well. Fnatic, right at the end, got 4th. Eggy on the podium. Grush once again. It will be a P2, but the drag to the line. Yannick did everything possible there to squeeze and stop Fnatic, but there was no stopping the Williams from bagging 4th right at the end after getting 7th or whatnot all race. And Charlie actually beat Callum there by half a second. Wow. Good race from the Cadillac and Cadillac in general. Some good points. Callum 9th in the end there. Toby 10th. Shelby 11th. Cal 12th. Jack 13th. Warren got lapped in 14th. But Dello's done it again. 4 wins in 6 races to take his 6th win. Becoming the driver with the most wins in the tier now, actively. And Grush, it's another podium. It's a return back to the podium. But once again, that first win is just right there, but he can't quite get it. Eggy, another podium for him. Great stuff. Fnatic will be pretty happy with that. Yannick, I mean, Eggy managed to send it on the last lap into turn 1. He needed to do that on Martin, who beat Samurai by 8/10. He needed to do that, Eggy. He had to go for it, and I generally didn't think he was going to get that stopped. He was going to whack Martin off the track, but he got it stopped. What a move from Eggy. What a last lap from the Mercedes, and Yannick tried the same thing, sent it, but went too deep. Eggy knew what to do, switched back, and he's home free. And because Yannick was so focused on Eggy, Fnatic just picked up the pieces. And wow, what a race. Well done, Dello, as he's going to break the laws of physics. I am going to skip that, though, because a few times this season I've not been able to get this. Fastest lap for Grush. Wait until that disappears. There we go. No, we don't go. I want my screenshot. There you go. Cool. So, how would that race have played out if we didn't have that VSC? Grush would have had to definitely get some overtaking done. Could he have caught Dello by the end? I don't know, because he would have had to use his tyres, but it was a gamble that Grush couldn't really just turn an eye, bat an eye, well, just couldn't really turn away from. It was there for the taking, and if he still ended up losing, he would have regretted probably not pitting under the VSC. So I think he did the right thing. I think he did everything he possibly could have done, but Dello, once again, just prevails. He's the one to beat. He's the one to catch. Let's get the top 3 in then. Hope you all enjoyed that as well. And now we'll interview the top 3. Grush. Oh yeah, party. Forgot about that. Oh, it's allowed me to make one now. Yes, come on. Right, let's try that again. Grush. Eggy. And Dello. Right then, we have the top 3 joining the party now. We'll probably give Dello a minute. Oh no, he's joined before Eggy. That's fair enough. Alright, there we go. We have the top 3 in the party now. Fantastic. Dello's profile is darkened. Don't know if he's in game chat, he's muted or something. Anyway, Eggy, are you there, mate? Hello, have you included your audio?
Yes.
Great. Grush, are you there, mate?
I am, mate.
Have you included your audio?
I have.
Perfect. Dello, are you there, mate? Are you there, Dello? We'll come back to him. I don't know if you can mute your mic either, Dello. I can hear myself. I'll just mute him. Oh, wait. Dello, are you there? Okay, I can hear you, mate. Have you included your audio?
Awesome.
Awesome. Right, well, we'll start off with you then. So, Dello. There we go. Dello, you have won the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, your fourth win out of 6 this season. It's been a phenomenal start to the season for you. But you had to work hard for this one. Just take us through the race and qualifying your first pole of the season. I'm sure that must have felt great. And then just take us through the race, the virtual safety car, the fighting at the start, the fighting at the end. What were the emotions right now?
Yeah, so quali was good. I mean, set a really good first lap, to be honest, and that just sort of kept the flow. And then for my second lap, I actually lagged out when I was about 3 tenths up or 2 tenths up, something like that. Um, so obviously had to join back and then had one more run to try and um, yeah, put it on pole. And thankfully, like last season, was able to do that. And then in the race, the fine at the start, to be honest, off the line, on my screen, I got like a good enough start to keep first, and then next minute I know I've got cars like teleporting in front of me, so wasn't ideal, but just one of them things you get on with. And then yeah, the virtual safety car, I think. A couple laps later, it would have probably worked more in Grush's favor, but because I was on the hards and he had to do a medium stint for, I guess, 12 laps, it sort of, it swung my way a little bit more. But no, it's still a really good fight with Grush as well. Pretty much the only car I saw all race, but yeah, it was a good race.
Yeah, it was a fantastic race, and how it shaped up for you. So what was the initial reaction when the virtual came out? Did you think, oh, I've lost this, or I can still win this, or has Grush just been helped a lot, or do you think it didn't help him?
I was quite annoyed, to be fair, because I only boxed the lap previous, and then if we both box when the VSC comes out, I'm on. My hard tires are another lap fresher, and yeah, but it is what it is. I also thought that it would help. I saw Fnatic with him up there, so I thought he was going to get thrown into the mix as well. But yeah, I don't know. I just had to get on with it. It's one of them things, really. It's what you expect at a track around like Jeddah, street circuits. So.
Yeah, exactly. And the last 10 laps, you were behind him, and then the gap suddenly went up to 2 seconds. Did you make a mistake, or do you think Grush just really got on with it?
I think it was a mix of Grush getting on with it, and I don't know, maybe I ran out of battery. I don't know specifically what point. Are you referring to? Just after he came
You
out
were
of the
like
pits,
around, just he came out. You were around 7, 8 tenths, and suddenly it went to 2.2 seconds.
Yeah, I think it was a mix of like dirty air, him having really fresh tires, or just like fresher mediums. Um, and also the battery was quite difficult as well in the race. I know it's like that for everyone, but the amount of times I was on the back straight on 0% wasn't really fun, but you know.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot. The first sector, you would gain a lot on him, middle a little bit more, and then the third you'd be on 0, he'd be on 15, and then pull away. That's what allowed him to be a second or more ahead a lot of laps. But the lap you got within, you had a great little fight in turn 1 and 2, and then on the second lap, you obviously had the blue. You pressured Grush to use his battery. He couldn't save as much, and you got the job done with a lap to spare. So fantastic race from you. You extend your championship lead. I think you're now well over into the triple digits point. So now Red Bull as well extends. So it's all looking great. And what are your thoughts on Qatar next week?
Yeah, I like Qatar, so it's a fun track for me. It's one I seem to do decent at as well, so um, yeah, it's going to be a good race next week.
So the championship leader holds on to his momentum, and we definitely have quite a few who are chasing him and can take the fight to him. One of them is the man who's just finished short on the race today. If you can mute your mic, Dello, I can still hear myself. Testing. Dello, you there?
Yeah, I am muting it. It's just do you want, should I just leave instead? Okay, if you
Okay,
want
if
to
you want to
leave, I'll
leave, I'll
invite you
invite
later.
you later.
Yeah, sounds good. See ya.
All right, cool. All right, there we go. So moving on to our P2 man then, Grush. Once again, it looked like another chance of victory has just fallen short, but compared to the last couple of weeks, it's a great return to fighting for the win on the podium. Just what are the thoughts right now? Are you happy with the result, or yeah, did it? Do you think this was just another one that maybe just got away?
Yeah, like Delo said, if that safety car had been a couple of laps later, that virtual safety car, then I could have held on. I pushed, hard within the first stint just to try and get him out, but the rears just, yeah, they just fell off. I tried then just to see if I can maintain, that 1 second just to keep him out of the blue, but it was difficult. Especially on 10 lap old a medium. So yeah, disappointed a bit, but it was a good battle. I enjoyed it, and yeah, it was better than last week. A lot better than last week.
Yeah, exactly. And I was mentioning if you ignored the opportunity to pit under the VSC and pitted when you probably should have around 15, 16, and you still ended up losing to Dello, I'm sure you would have regretted maybe not pitting under the VSC. You got to take these
Yeah.
opportunities when they present themselves to you.
Yeah, of course you do. Like I said, when it came out, I was kind of on the back straight, and I was going through, should I, shouldn't I, looking at thinking, if I take these halves a little bit longer, maybe get some really fresh mediums and then fight through the pack. And I just decided, you know what, with it being a street circuit and, the potential of getting damaged and stuff like that, I thought, heck, if I can get through the VSC and come back out in front and maybe get a gap, and then I try and maintain it. But, Delo's got phenomenal pace and he's persistent and eventually reeled me in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you drove your heart out. You managed to build a little bit of a gap. You got the fastest lap of the race. I think you did everything you possibly could have done. And it's still a P2, meaning you were fourth in the championship heading into this. And now I think you were 6 points behind Fnatic, who obviously got fourth right at the end. So I think you and Fnatic are level on points now.
Mm.
So joint third or whatnot. And you obviously gain a little bit on Martin as well. So I guess obviously Delo's the main one to catch, but you're not alone in the sense that you got what 4 or 5 others all chasing Delo down. One being his teammate, of course, but still, yeah, return to the podium, and well, let's look at a big positive. That start of yours on the hard compound tires. What do you think? What was going through your head when you took the lead into turn one?
Well, yeah. I mean, I decided on an alternative track 'cause I can remember last year. Can't remember where we were racing, but they decided to start on the hards, and I thought, you know what, if I can pull these hards through, um, warm them up nicely on that formation lap, and for some reason, it's very difficult to nail a start with these 26 cars. You've got to get it perfect, and yeah, I just seen Delo pull away at the same time, and then all of a sudden I don't know if he had wheel spin or what, he just backed off a little bit, and I thought, yeah, this is my opportunity.
Yeah, indeed, it was quite a shock because throughout the formation lap, I was saying if Gush could maybe hold on to his place, only lose one, that would be great. But no, you did the unthinkable and took the start on a worse tire.
Mm.
So fantastic stuff. And then you obviously, yeah, practically you and Dello were kind of the only people you saw that whole race. Obviously Martin, Eggy, and whatnot were close, but it looked like you two just managed to have the pace today. Every week, one or two kind of prevail as the main two. There may be a third driver, but yeah, it's great to see you back after. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really get your thoughts on Miami and Bahrain, and to be honest, I guess for you, we shouldn't dive into that. It's good to focus on
Yeah,
on
on the
on Saudi and
positives.
whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, focusing on next week, what are your thoughts on Qatar?
Yeah, it's a good track, and again, it's one of them where battery saving's not really kind of one of them forefront. It's on pace, and to be honest, I don't think I've drove much of it with the 26 car, so I've got a week to practice now, so I'm looking forward to it.
Fantastic. All right, so well done on P2. Another great haul of points, and after a little iffy spell, you're back on the podium, which is great to see. And we'll definitely be keeping the fight going, and I'm sure that first win of the season is coming your way very soon.
Yes.
And moving on to our P3 man, Eggy. You've done it again. What a fantastic race, and what an amazing last lap from you. Well, where to begin? So, qualifying, you qualified 4th, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so, just take us through qualifying first. 4th, were you happy with it? Was it the most you could do? Do you think there was maybe a bit more on the table?
Yeah, on the final run, I was saving quite a bit ERS in the first sector and also the second one. But then I invalidated on the, I don't know the turns, but the last quick chicane.
Yeah.
And I was up 2/10, I think, and with a bit more battery than on my previous run. So, yeah, I don't know if that was the maximum P4 because I had a gap to P3 and all the others. But yeah, from a timing point, it wasn't the optimum.
Right, because I think you missed out on pole by 3 or 4 tenths, so already being up by 2 and probably gaining a bit more with the battery. Wow, that could have, I think, maybe been 3rd, but I mean, the top 2 are quite close, so you never know. But anyway, focusing on to the race, you had I think, a good start. I mean, you managed to hold position and fight with Yannick and whatnot. In the first stint, I guess, there was a few swaps here and there, but I think, Did you know this podium, like 3rd, was going to be the maximum as the top 2 started to pull away, or did you think you could maybe still, like, what was the plan? Did you think I'll pit this lap, or was it just reacting to what the others would do?
Yeah, I was pretty sure P3 is the maximum, and yeah, as you said, as soon as I saw the others are pulling away, I just tried to get P3, and yeah, my tires were falling off fairly quick, I guess, so I wanted to come in as soon as possible, and yeah, all the others came in with me, and yeah, the first stint was overall really quiet. Yeah, and then towards the end, obviously, it was really sweaty with Martin also in there and Yannick to be in the right position and to then also execute what I was trying to do, because I saw my exits from the last corner were not that great, so I thought I couldn't attack Yannick to the line. So my plan was to be second in line behind him and Martin behind me, and then attack into the final corner, as I did.
Yeah, exactly. And well, it kind of played out a little differently with exiting the 22-23 fast chicane at the end. Yannick always seemed to blast his battery early, or you maybe didn't put it on, but he managed to always get ahead of you. And heading into that last lap with the blue detection, obviously, you know Martin's going to be behind both of you at the end with this penalty.
Yeah.
So you being in second, yeah, it's perfect for you to get the blue. But obviously Yannick was there, and then Yannick got ahead of Martin. And on that last lap, it was crucial. It was absolutely crucial. You needed to be ahead of Martin if you wanted to get
exactly.
this podium, getting Yannick. And that send into turn 1, that's generally one of the best moves I've seen in a while. It was perfect. You got the car stopped just in time. I genuinely thought from the offboard you were going to hit Martin off the track or,
Me too.
or whatnot. But no, yeah, you too. It was absolutely phenomenal. And then you were behind Yannick. You had, I think Yannick at the hairpin had 30 and you had like 80. So it always kind of looked like you were going to take it. You blasted by him with one corner to go. But then Yannick got a bit inspired by you and absolutely sent it. But you knew what to do. You've been around here long enough to know what to do in that situation. Switch back to the line. Podium is yours. And were you maybe a bit like watching your mirrors, a bit interested to see Yannick and Fnatic were side by side going across the line?
No, I didn't see that. I didn't watch my mirrors.
Oh, fair enough. But yeah, you should be mainly focusing on the fact that another podium, another great drive. After also, or maybe not compared to Grush, but I also didn't get your thoughts really on because Bahrain was okay, like decent for you, but Miami just didn't it seemed like a one-off for you. So it's great to see you back right at the top and getting your hopes for this championship back underway. So yeah, great race today, and we move on to Qatar. And as I've labelled you a lot of times as a tyre whisperer in this tier, Qatar, you definitely need to make the tyres last. So how are you feeling for Lusail in 1 week?
Yeah, it would be definitely interesting also with the battery, but unfortunately I'm on vacation.
Ah, damn. Okay, fair enough. Well, enjoy your vacation then, and hopefully we'll see you in the race after or whatever. But for now, it's a good race to at least leave off when you take a break. So yeah, enjoy that. Well done. And yeah, that has been it then. That has been the Tier 2 Season 13 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Very well done to Dello on a 4th win of 6 races, and Grush and Eggy joining him on the podium. Great drives from all 3 of them. We will see you then in 1 week's time at Qatar for round 7.